We had a interesting event at the last Trimet board meeting, and anybody who follows Trimet material and follows anything I do know how I feel about the Trimet board. Uh, Complete sock puppets, waste of time to even watch them most of the time. I had stopped watching them because what's the point of watching them? These are elitists making all the decisions for everybody else. I consider them at the same level as I consider Donald Trump. They make all the rules, and we just sit there and watch. Okay, it's the same thing, exactly the same thing. He gets up and says what his reality is, and we have to take it whether we like it or not. Well, TriMet board is the same way, and, and the TriMet board, excuse me, reflects the values of the technocracy that's running the agency. Now, this recent hubbub, TriMet lost this case with the woman who didn't have her ID, and they ended up losing, which was significant. But those of us who have followed TriMet for years, like myself, already know that court rulings mean nothing to TriMet, nothing. Those of you who've been around a little bit longer will remember how TriMet seized our paychecks, stole money out of our paychecks unilaterally, and a judge ruled that that was illegal to do and they had to give it back. But guess what? They did not give the money back. They didn't follow the court ruling. The only time they gave the money back was after Bruce made a contract deal with those scum executives. Then they gave the money back. So we already know. Excuse me, I'm choking. We already know that TriMet executives don't follow court rulings. There's no price for them to pay. They are unaccountable technocrats. They get paid huge sums of money and they get big fat pensions. And the reason they get that is so that they can oppress the public. Okay, these agencies, these leaders that they call themselves, we don't have a choice of leaders. The leaders are always selected for us, and then we get a choice between leader A or leader B. In the case of the national election, we had two scum buckets. We had Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, the two worst scum in the country. So people didn't choose the scum bucket, Trump. He lost, but this is America, so democracy doesn't mean anything anyway. But on the case of TriMet, so TriMet has decided that they're not going to follow the judge's ruling. They're coming up with all kinds of hemming and hawing. Now, the proper way for an agency that had any ethics to deal with this would be to appeal the ruling. That's what you do. You don't like the ruling, you appeal it to the next highest court. But guess what? The Attorney General didn't want to appeal the ruling. In other words, they figured they were going to lose. So they didn't appeal the ruling. So what are they doing? They're trying to find all these workarounds so that they can just keep doing what they're doing. Basically, what they're doing is what they always do. They lose a court ruling, they don't follow it, and so what are you going to do about it, Joe Q. Public? What are you going to do? You can't do anything about it. Just like my class action lawsuit, they settled it, but they didn't change a damn thing. They're still using operators' time. They're just using up all your time, and you're volunteering it basically. So you're working, and we're dealing with an agency that has no ethics. So we already understand that. We know that they have no ethics. They're unaccountable. They do what they want. They're all overpaid. They all have egos to match their paychecks. So what happens here is the board is now trying to come up with a resolution to justify their illegal behavior. It's a phony. It's fake. But this is what government officials do. They obscure the situation. So this is going to be an interesting conversation that goes on here with the TriMet board members. So I want to look at it and cut in when needed. So let's go.
Bauman?
Yes.
Director Gonzalez?
Aye.
Director Simmons?
Aye.
Director Warner?
Aye.
Director Stovall?
Aye.
Director Way?
No.
All right, so the vote was not unanimous. So I believe based on the vote, there's still a desire to move forward on this.
So this director, Kathy Way, and me and Neil Berlin have been watching these, and thank God for him, because without his without him watching it with me. I don't know if I could get through it, but she's like the lone voice of the people. Let's say she's the lone voice of dissent. These board meetings are never of any controversy at all. There's never. They all agree. They all anything that the general manager says they should do, they do. It's the biggest joke. They all congratulate themselves all day long about the great job they're doing and how great everything is. But this new director, Kathy Way, has thrown a little bit of excitement into this because she's not going along with everything just like they all do, okay? So she's added this little extra oomph into the board meetings.
So we need to, I think, consider an ordinance 351 without an emergency clause, and I know you have that available. You can give to us right now, this would be, as they're handing it out, after you get it, I'd like to see a motion from one of the board members to move this motion forward, actually to approve the first reading of this ordinance, right? And I think what we ought to do is, if there's not a date on it, set the date. I don't think 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks is probably adequate. So I guess I would say we ought to schedule it for the December.
So Bruce Warner, he's public enemy number one, by the way, because he's the one that controls everything. Bruce Warner's a technocrat from years ago, lives on a huge pension from the city of Beaverton. You know, he's all part of that club. He does the right thing. He says, yeah, we need more than 2 weeks to let this go out for public opinion. But we'll continue it. We'll see what happens now.
Meeting in December, which is what date?
The 12th? 12th.
12th of December.
I'd like to ask that we do it in November. I think this is, my perception, Kathy, is that this is about how we conduct business that we are legally have the authority to do.
So here we have this woman immediately saying lies. Business that we are we have legal authority to do. She's lying. You don't have legal authority to do it. A judge just ruled you don't have authority to do it. But here she is saying a blatant, bald-faced lie. We have a legal authority to do it. You don't. That's very clouded now. Just because you say you have a legal authority to do it doesn't mean you do. That's like Trump saying, I don't know. I have a legal authority to look, let's not get Trump into this, but you know what I'm trying to say. She's making up bullshit.
And it's not changing anything from the fact it's protecting the people who are actually doing this. If we go out and spend time talking to the world about it, it's not going to change the fact of whether or not, as a transit agency, we have the responsibility to collect fare.
You heard what she said. If we go out and talk to the world about it, fuck it. In other words, she's a fascist. That's a fascist talking. Fuck the world. Fuck what people think. This is what we're going to do. That is a fascist. All right, I know you hear that word a lot, but fascism is all around us right now. People they don't get it. You know, most people are not paying attention. They think everything is fine. Boy, are they going to be in for a shock.
That's from a board standpoint, the perception that by not collecting fare, we don't have the resources to even provide a transit agency.
You see how she's just lying through her teeth. She could be Trump, okay? That's exactly this is what I object to about our mainstream media and all this Trump. He's only doing what Trump is following standard operating procedure of all of these people. He's doing the same thing they all do. Of course, everybody's focused on him. Yeah, look at Trump. He does the same thing they all do. You're seeing it right here. You don't have the resources. Of course you have the resources to. It's only 17% of the fares that cover the operating it. That's a lie. It's a bald-faced lie in our face, just like Donald.
And so, to me, it's what would we get by having the dialogue in the community, and what we gain by having the clarity is, think of yourself as being a frontline worker within the transit system, that given the kind of confusion and
this woman is really putrid. She's really disgracefully disgusting. They're enforcing the fares right now. Think of yourself as a frontline worker. They're doing it, you stupid. They're enforcing the fares right now, whether you put the goddamn resolution online or not.
I've seen the confusion that's out there right now on the basis of the ACLU going on TV talking about the fact that Trimet is making all these allegations that are unfounded. And so,
This is the kind of person that's on the board, one that just lies through their teeth. That's unfounded. I'm sorry, they are founded. A judge, an actual member of the court who heard the whole case said they were founded. Oh, man, see, this is why I don't watch this, because these are the people that run this place. These are the people that run Trimet. They're anti-human, anti-worker, anti-rider. Their only purpose is to funnel money to capital projects. They hate people. They love the police state. They are your worst nightmare. They are Trump. Okay, so next time you think of Trump and you attack him, you have Trump right here. This is the same thing. Stop wasting your energy on him when you have the same thing right in front in your backyard.
I don't see any benefit in delaying this until December. I mean, I don't even see any benefit in delaying it until November.
Of course you don't, because you're a fascist. You believe that people should just do what they're told. That's what a fascist is. You do what I tell you because I'm in the position of authority and you're not. So you peons just comply. That's what she is. She's a fascist. Why do we have to wait? Of course. Why should we wait? Let's do it right now. Theoretically, she's right. It will pass. It will actually pass. This is all window dressing. Nothing's going to change because one member of the board doesn't like it. They'll pass it. But, I mean, I just think it's very important to understand the kind of people that are on your Trimet board. People that don't care about the employees, people that don't care about the riders. They just think because they're elites, they have the right to shove whatever they want down our throats out here in the public.
But it's when do we get input in terms of what's the input going to say, whether we collect fare or not collect fare? To me, and we are not in a court case right now. You stated earlier we were in a court case. We are not in a court case.
That's right. You already lost your court case. You lost. You're not in it. You lost. And you're trying to find ways to get around. You're trying to find some little subtle way to get around it. And you're going to find it because you have the power and we don't. You're going to do what you want to do, and then it's on us citizens to challenge you. And this is standard operating procedure by elitist government.
This is just trying to provide accurate information to the public about what our obligations are under the law.
I agree to that.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to interrupt. I don't want to get into debates with the board individually. I don't think that's appropriate. If a board member disagrees from me in regards to any ordinance or any subject matter, that's their prerogative, and I don't want to get into a debate about why they should be voting my way or why they should be voting a different way.
And thank God there's another person that has some brains on here, okay, that actually stands up. Okay, the motion was already passed. Kathy Way voted no. Why are they still discussing this? This should have been finished. But that fascist woman is not allowing things to move forward. She wants things to go back. And she's attacking Kathy Way because she didn't go the way she wanted. This man is correct 100%.
I don't feel like I'm doing that. I feel like I'm clarifying my position.
I don't want to continue that and to keep going that direction, because it seems like when you use Director Way in particular when you made your references, and I don't think that's appropriate. I don't want to get into that, because just because you don't agree with the way I voted, then we need to leave it there.
Thank you. And I didn't need a reclarification of why this was important or not in terms of the urgency of this vote. So my vote still stands, and I think that
I'm
we
not
need to push this
asking you to change your vote. I'm asking that the board consider taking this up as a matter on November 14th.
So this fascist woman doesn't even want to wait the amount of time. She's a fascist. That's what she is. And she shows her colors here. Fascists don't take no for an answer. They kill you. And she would probably kill Kathy if she had a weapon.
as opposed to delaying it until December.
So would you make a motion to approve a revised ordinance 351
On a first reading.
without an emergency clause that we can then have the first reading on here
Yes.
today and move forward?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. We have a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, let's have a roll call vote on the motion to revise the ordinance and set a date for
November 14th.
November 14th.
I think you're just making a resolution at this point, so you can just do an aye or no
Okay.
vote on this.
All those in favor of the motion to amend the ordinance without the emergency clause and consider it on the November 14th meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We have agreement.
All right, I was disappointed that Kathy didn't vote no. She should have voted no. Why did she cave into that fascist? She should have voted no. Why are you giving that other woman what she wants when your point of view is more accurate as to what the community wants? But she caved. You know, I'm not going to criticize her for that. At least she voted no first time around. Okay, we already know this is going to pass. This is all window dressing. Nothing going to change. Those Gestapo out there today, or before any of this, they're still doing it. Trimet doesn't pay attention. They don't care about. This is what they do. You got a court ruling. Good for you. They violate it again. So what? There's no price to pay. You, the citizen, have to go back into court again. And even if you win again, they don't follow it. So you're basically stuck with an organization that does not have accountability to the courts, to the citizens, to anybody. That's who your Trimet is. That's why you always need to vote no on anything that gives these people extra money. You're just contributing to your own destruction.